I'm planning to have rice for the lunch. Then morning before class, I will cook first. I will cook masak nasi dulu. And then afternoon, when lunchtime, immediately I go and fry those veggie and meat. Enough. Cukup 1 jam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, try lah because sometimes Maggie maybe not enough, right? Only
Yeah, not
noodles.
enough.
Yeah, for my class 2 hours, okay lah, cukup.
Yeah,
Can
yeah, memang cukup lah.
yeah. So after 2 hours, you can have another tea break. All right, nice to meet three of you again today. Last week do you still remember what we learned last week? Can you
CIA.
CIA? Yes, correct, Noel, CIA. Other than CIA, Kelvin, I didn't hear your voice, Kelvin.
Huh? What?
Oh, okay, okay. Other than CIA, what else you remember last week we learned? Not at all.
Don't remember.
Not remember. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, let's continue. Last week, maybe I just briefly glance through last week. CIA, like what Noel say. So chapter number 1, we are discussing types of security threat and attack. So last week we covered the CIA triad, the triangle. So this week we go a little bit deep today. We learn types of attack and then the standards and some of the measurements that we can use in the organizations. Okay, so let me present the screen again. Can you see full screen? Let me check. I have, yeah, okay, full screen. So this week we start with active attack and a passive attack. If you remember tutorial, there are 2 questions asking on this topic. So those are past year paper, past year questions. So means that this topic you have to know. Okay, you have to understand well on this active and a passive attack. Do you have your pen or pencil? Are you in front of PC or handphone?
PC.
PC. Okay. How
PC.
about PC? One more.
Laptop.
Laptop. Okay, good. So any add-on, will you type faster or write faster?
Um,
Screen
I
record.
not sure. I think type faster. I think.
Type faster. Like I look at the notes. For some of the content, I might explain a little bit in detail. I hope you can quickly jot it down.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, okay.
Now let's say for these two, active attack and a passive attack, the major difference between these two, the active attack, where the attacker might intercept the connections, and major difference for active attack, they might modify the informations. Okay, that's the keyword. For active attack, attacker might trying to intercept the connection between center and recipient, and they are trying to modify the intercept information. Okay, whereby for passive attack, the attacker might intercept the transit information, but their major intention is just to know, to read, or even to analyze the information, but they are not meant for altering or modify the system. That's why you look at our PowerPoint slide, the one I highlighted in blue. Passive attack, they are not major in modifying the system. That's why it does not affect the system resources. Okay, so active attack, you look at the one I highlighted in blue. Their major content, no, not say major content. Their main purpose here is intercept connection and modify the information in between. That's why their major attempt is to alter the system resource, where when the system resources being altered might affect the entire system operations. So far, clear? The major difference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Clear?
Okay.
So I don't read the slides. I will try my best to capture those important points because if a reading slide, you three can read better than me. So I will take out the main point and I will explain to you. So there are two types of passive attack. What are the two types listed here? Release of message content, and also the other one is a traffic analysis. So this PowerPoint slide very nice, and they have a little bit images. Okay, let me. Oops, how come cannot display? Okay, let me escape. PowerPoint sometimes has a problem here. Let me enter. Where is my end task here? Okay. If I present like this, is it clear? If I didn't display full screen, okay, like
Okay.
this?
Okay.
Mm. Yeah, like this. So we look at the first type or first category here. They call it release of message content. So from the name, we actually can easily understand. Let's say example for telephone conversations. Okay, telephone conversations or sending electronic email messages. The files or the conversation between telephone could be contain sensitive or confidential information. Definitely the sender, the opponent, the recipient, we want to prevent the privacy of our content, right? To prevent any other third party access between the transmission and to capture the content. Okay, so next one, we call it traffic analysis. Do you understand the meaning of eavesdropping?
Yes.
Can you briefly explain?
Eavesdropping, like someone is like listening.
Yes,
Yes, listen. Someone is listening to through your conversation with another person.
yes, correct. So you look at the images in the PowerPoint slide there. Someone in between, they are reading the content, okay, from the sender to the recipient. So this type of attack might affect confidentiality. Remember, we have a CIA, confidentiality, and then we have integrity, and then we have CIA. The other one is availability. So for this passive attacker, they might affect the confidentiality of the data. How? Why? If someone in between reading your message, definitely you have no PNC, right? Your messages has no PNC. Okay, what else? Let me come back to the slide again. In this type of traffic analysis, suppose the sender, they suppose sender should masking the content of the message. Masking here means encryptions. So even though they are eavesdropper who are accessing the transmit in between, they might not able to truly read out the messages. They can, what they can get is could be the locations of the sender or recipient, the identity of the communicating host in between. That one they can know, or even maybe the length of the messages. That one they can know. But because of masking, the information, the detailed informations that taking place in between both party might not be truly read out and captured by the eavesdropper. So this one comparing active attack and passive attack. What do you think? Which one easier to detect? Which one more difficult to detect? What do you think? Can you guess? Which one more difficult to detect?
Which, what? Which one? What?
Which one more easily detected, can be detected? Now, let's say someone are accessing your information. Whether passive attack more easily detected or active attack more easily detected. Look at the slide.
Active.
Active attack more easily detected.
Yes, yeah, you are right. Correct. So means that you are understand very well, because for passive attack, right? They are more difficult to detect because they not meant for altering the data. If they are not made for altering data, so it's a little bit hard to identify where is the problem come from. Okay. Um, Let me go through next slide again. Okay, this one actually we also already discussed. Yeah, the release of a message content easily understood through telephone conversations, email, the files that contain sensitive or confidential information. Those are the entity or details that we want to protect, where we want to prevent them accessing by third party. Okay, masking also I did explain. So next one we look at active attack. Active attack involve modification, okay, as mentioned, modifications of data or creations of a false stem. So what does it mean? What does it mean here? When false stem means they are sending the in terms of integrity would be different. This active attack difficult to prevent because wide variety of potential physical means the attack can come from physical component, can goes to software, can goes to the networking as well. There are many holes to be attacked. So the goal is to detect attack and to recover from any disruption. Do you clear on this sentence? The major uh, purpose of the organization, they might trying to recover the disruption done by the active attack. Okay, the prevention of the active attack is quite difficult. Sorry, that's for passive attack. Yeah. Instead of prevention, okay, jot it down. Jot it down. For organization, instead of prevention, organization might be emphasized on detection. Okay, the one that I highlighted in blue. Emphasize on detection rather than prevention. Do you understand my sentence? Emphasize on detection rather than prevention. Why cannot prevent? Because of the first bullet point. Because there are many loopholes, there are many holes come from a different aspect. That's why very hard to prevent. But anyway, they are emphasized on their emphasis on detections, trying to recover disruption by active attacks. So far, any question?
Okay.
Okay.
No? Okay, right? I try to make it clear and repeat if this is important. For the passive attack, remember just now, passive attack might trying to change the what is it? The threat towards which one? CIA. Confidentiality. Okay, passive attack. Passive attack is a threat, is a kind of threat towards confidentiality. Then how about active attack? What do you think? How about active attack? Would be type of a
Maybe
mm,
3 of them, CIA.
okay, active attack might type of a threat towards integrity and availability. Okay, integrity and also availability. You can jot it down because the slide didn't mention.
Miss, why confidentiality not included?
Comparing the three, the integrity and availability are more dominant. Okay, more
Oh.
dominant than confidentiality.
Okay.
Lebih, how to say, dominant mean lebih menonjol, is it in Malay? How about other questions? No questions. Next one, we look at 4 categories of active attack. Out of these 4, which one you never heard before?
The first two.
First two. Okay. This one, masquerade. Masquerade, another meaning means interruption. Okay, in some reference book, they might call it, instead of a masquerade, they call it interruption. So both are the same. So what is this, a masquerade here in active attack? They will take place when one entity pretend to be different entity. So what does it mean? So the unauthorized attacker, yeah, I repeat, unauthorized attacker means they are not the authorized party from the organization. They're someone else. So unauthorized attacker, yeah, they might trying to how to say, they are trying to become another entity. So mean they pretend themselves as another entity. Is that clear? They are trying to pretend as a different entity. Just like not say masking, is it that they are not being honest. They are not authentic entity. So usually include one of the other forms of active attack. This is kind of attack of authenticity. What is authenticity means? The authenticity means real, genuine, not false one. Okay, this kind of attack is a threat towards authenticity because they're trying to make themselves become another entity. Do you understand? They are making themselves to pretend themselves as another entity. That's why this is a threat towards authenticity. Okay?
Okay.
So next one, replay. Replay here is a event. It's a event. Do they mention event here? Passive capture of the data unit and subsequent retransmission. Keyword is here. Keyword is retransmissions. Please highlight. Okay, retransmissions or resend the data. Resend the data could be when you're resending the data, the content of the first round sending to the second round, to the third, to the fourth could be slightly different. Okay, so this is a type of attack towards integrity. So sometimes we might be a little bit confused on, hey, how come integrity? How come not authenticity? So you can jot it down. You can jot it down. So when you look at the term authenticity, you have to think of whether it is the real entity, yang betul, yang genuine entity. For masquerade, they pretend to another entity. That's why there is a threat to authenticity. However, for replay, this is an attack towards integrity. Integrity here, another term you can try to relate it to, the content would not be accurate. Okay, the content, the first sending compared to the recent second round, the data unit capture could be not so accurate second round compared to the first round. All right. So number 3 is talk about modifications of messages. So modification of a messages mean alter, modify, change the messages. This is a type of integrity as well. Okay. So next one, denial of services. DOS attack. Huh? What is this about? The effect of a denial of service. Do you learn this one, denial of service, before?
Not just heard of it.
No.
No. Okay. I give you a simple example here. Let's say I'm a running online shopping platform. Okay, I'm running this. So I have my business very good. Every day, many online customer buy products from my platform, from my website. So there are other third party or maybe attacker hired by some other organizations. They want to, on business type, sometimes they might feel unhappy with the better businesses. So what they want to do, they want to disrupt, or disrupt here, maybe you can think of the word ganggu. Okay, disrupt, disturb the entire network with the purposes to avoid potential customer access to my online business platform. You see, when customer, when what, do you ever buy products online? If you
Yeah.
are, yes, sometimes, right, from the previous semester, when I ask students at the beginning of semester, they will say, no, 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 miss, we don't buy one. Towards the end of the semester, everybody has experience. So when you are accessing the website, first time you access, loading, loading, loading. Second time you access, slow, 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 not responding. Will you going to access the third time? Maybe if you're looking for certain products that really cheap and not available to other website, then could be you are waiting. Or else, potential customer could be changed. They might go for other websites. So denial of service, disruptions of an entire network, where might disabling the network. Or another way is keep on sending messages, keep on sending data to the network, make it overloaded. What happened overloaded? Overloaded means not responding or the performance would be drops. The main purpose of an attacker for denial of service is they don't want the legitimate user access some services like online shopping, for example. Okay, or they want to block or lock the authorized company users too. Okay, denial of service means something like refuse on services. So far, okay. So this
Miss, how is the replay and modification of message is different?
how to replay and modification. Replay means sending again and again. Resend. Retransmission
To
here, you can make it a term. It's a sequence or the activities where the data might capture and resend again and again.
send to the receiver.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Yeah. Then modification means changes, alter the messages. Replay, no modification. Modification and replay is different.
okay.
Okay, clear? Yeah, good questions. Next one. Okay, there are few more. So nice. This, you see, all the eyes, semua mata terkeluar. So this one, masquerade. So far, we already done. Actually, we don't have to go through the object anymore. So masquerade here means someone, they pretend themselves to another party. Do you see the images here? They have the, what's the tools there to cover themselves. This is this is an explanation also on masquerade here. Take place when one entity pretend to be different entity. When the sender here is a Halim sending messages to Anita. In between their intercept activity did by Alex. So Alex pretend himself as Halim in sending messages to Anita. Okay, if let's say, for example, Halim sending the website to Anita. Halim say, or maybe bank account. Halim sending the bank account number to Anita, saying that, oh, this is my bank account number. You might pay the sum of amount to my account. So these messages intercept by Alex and alter by Alex. They pretend, not say alter, not alter, they pretend that they are Halim. So even though Anita paying to the account, but in between, who will be received? Alex will be received. Replay without tampering. Number three, modifications. So mean change. So this is type of a threat towards integrity. Okay, some are repeated. Replay here, modifications. This one we already done. Denial of service also. Overloaded network, overloaded data sending or messages could overwhelming too much already. The network cannot cope with too many messages. Towards the end, the server crash. The company might not provide a good services to their customer. Okay, denial of service. This one also done.
Miss, for the replay kan, so
Mm.
the attacker they copy the message and then they send the same message over and over.
Okay, let me come back to the replay here. Okay, involve the passive capture the data. So mean they are, if you say copy, yeah, could be capture, they get the data, they could copy it, and subsequent continuously, okay, following time, continuously say sending the transmission. Just now I mentioned about copy and resending. Yeah, can too. You look at the images here for the Alex. Capture message from Halim to Anita. Later, replay message to Anita. So in between, let me think of what is a good example here. To internet other communication facility. Accuracy. So this one is a type of integrity tech accuracy. Accuracy can be towards amount transmission or can be towards when accessing a certain websites. No, that's not a good example. Give me 1 minute. Let me think of what is the best example here. Sequence events. Okay, could be the data, yeah, the uh, when the authorized user sending the data to Anita. Halim and Anita, they belongs to the same organization. Now they are sending the confidential company information in between. So what happened? Alex intercept. They are capturing the data. They are transmit the data again and again to Anita, but actually uh, they are not sending from the authorized organization. They are not sending from Halim because they intercept, right? So what is the effects of this? What do you think? What is the effect? When the data sending from unauthorized party, which is Alex, what happened? There are few consequences there. Can you guess?
Like balance, like finance.
Finance mean they are sending different financial detail. Could be if they're altering the data, because you look at the definition here, they didn't mention replay here is not talking about modification, right? Okay,
No.
replay here without tampering, they are not modification. But when they are resending the data as an unauthorized party, it means that when there is a reply from the girl, when there is a reply from Anita reply to the wrong party. Do you see that? The messages not modified, because modification is different. Is this one modification of messages? So for replay, when Anita received a message and she thought that's from authorized Halim, then in between, when the reply, there is a reply from Anita, then she might thought that she giving feedback to the authorized party, but actually no. There are similarity to the masquerade.
Oh, okay.
Mm. Retransmission, send and send again. Yeah. Okay, let me continue a little bit. When you are explaining in further, you will notice that this point, when you are explaining in further, become another topic already, become another point. Fundamental security design principle. Let's see what is the time now. 1:30. Okay, we take back later. Few more slides. This is quite a long topic here. How many principles here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 13. 13 principle in creating a good security design.
So many.
How many?
So
13.
many. 13.
So many. Yeah, I thought you asked me how many is so many. Yeah. Let me see. Economy fail. Some, I would say, not so important, but they are still have to know lah. Okay, we look at the first one. The definition here is a bit brief. So when maybe you can jot down for additional content from me. Now, first principle here, economy of mechanism, as simple and small as possible. Here talking about the design of the security measurement in both hardware and software. Okay, jot it down, jot it down. The designs of security measurements here involve include both hardware and software. Have to make it as simple as possible, because simple or small design, when there is a problem come out, easy to verify, easy to identify and verify, or even in the implementation set could be easy to test out. Do you agree? Simple, if you are developing a simple system, would it be easy to check out, to test out the whole program? Memang, right? If a simple program, there is only few functions, then easily identified. So when for a complex design, which is a complicated or big system, that might open up a lot of opportunity to spot out the weaknesses. Okay, the first point, economy of a mechanism. So means make it simple, easy to test out and verify, rather than develop a complex design where might open up more opportunities for the attacker to find out those weaknesses. Can understand the first one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. No reply, so mean okay. So second, fail-safe defaults. Access decisions based on permission rather than exclusions. Okay, here, when this is talking about the conservative thinking, pemikiran yang lebih selamat, conservative thinking, where you might think of why the object, let's say why the object, you might think of you're giving access decision. I mean, you are giving permission who or which object can be accessed rather than you identify out which one cannot be accessed. Okay, let me repeat. Let me repeat. So this is a type of conservation thinking where the designer will base on the argument why the object can be accessed. Mean based on permission. You can access this, rather than you decide which one cannot access. Just like you will think of apa yang boleh makan. Don't think of apa yang tidak boleh makan. Because you will making the scope, make it more simple. The scope make it clear and easy to identify. Okay, boleh? You are determined, you are making an argument where you identify which object with permission can be accessed, rather than you go and decide which one who cannot access.
Oh, means there's a list lah.
There is a list, yes, in the documentation, giving permission to who can access will be more easier, rather than you find out who cannot access, who one has to be excluded. Boleh?
Okay.
Can accept, So next one, we talk about complete mediations. Okay, every access must be checked. This one clear. Every time when the user access to the files, when the user even read the files, read the single field in the records or single data they read from the database, the system must be must have the access control every time after the user access to the object or data. Every access by every single user towards every single object must be checked, okay, must be checked every time based on the authority. So consider quite strict this rule. Okay, this rule consider quite straight because every time when a single user access to every object has to be clearly checked by the authority. Okay, so this is a security design principle. So if you want to have a very high security system where can truly protect your organization, this one, whereas if you want to have a good design, you better follow all these principles. So the fourth one, open design. What is this? Security mechanism should be open rather than secret. What do you think? What is this about? Security, but why need to make it open and not secret? What do you think? Kevin, you want to try?
What? What open design?
What do you understand by this simple sentence here?
Security mechanism should be
Why make it
open rather than
open?
secret. Why make it open?
Yeah, why make it open? You
To
would be
make sure
wonder if you are the person in charge.
To make sure the people, the customers are more trusting of the system, of the website or system.
The customer more time
To not to gives the customer more confidence to once they see the mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Yes. Kevin, very good. You get the point there. Confidence. If you know, let's say if you know clearly, no means the company, the organization's system, if that is transparent to you, definitely you will be more confident to the operations of the organization. This is what they mean. Even though there are certain algorithm may be considered secret for the organization, but should open for public means should be able to view by the public or by the user. Why? The algorithm that may be considered secret to you, when you open it to public here, not only users, but also for some experts, some who has a strong background where they can understand well what you are doing, they will have more high confidence to your security design. Okay, any objection? Or maybe you say cannot. Noel, do you agree? Or you agree? Object or agree?
So far, I just listen only.
You just listen only. If you are the organization, what do you think? If you are the boss lah, the owner.
I don't know. Still haven't decided. Haven't
Still
no
haven't
opinion yet.
decided. Most of the time for organization, no matter how they will certain expect they want to keep it internally. But from the user point of view, of course, open design will be the preference. If you want to capture, if you want to have, you want your system to be agreeable and acceptable, supportable by the user, then make it open design will be the best. Separations of privilege. What is this? Multiple privilege attributes are required to access resources. Example, when the user would like to access some confidential data, then multiple privilege attribute here means multi-factor user authentications. Okay, I repeat, multiple privilege attribute here means multi-factor. Multi-factor, something you can see, something you can hold, something you know. So, multiple techniques, something you can see, what is that? Your, something you can, something you have, something you have like your smartphones, something you know, such as your passwords, your PIN code, and the other one, what is it again? Something you have, let me double check the last week topic. Something you have, something you know, slide number 17. No, this is encryption. Something no, have, yeah. What is one more? You know, you have. And something you own. Something you own like your voice, your iris. Okay, combinations of a multi-factor will be higher security. Just like when you are performing online transaction, rather than entering PIN codes, you will also receive the OTP numbers to your smartphone. Smartphone is something you have. Your PIN code is something you know. So by applying multiple attributes here, mean highly secure compared to single factor. Clear this one?
Okay.
Okay, least privilege. Necessary least set of privilege necessary to perform the task role-based access control. If let's say you're assigned to accessing certain resources, in this principle means you will be only allocated on that individual function you can access. You'll be assigned, you have your permission to access the particular functions only. Okay, based on whatever you need to access, that's it. Cannot have the permissions to access other resources. All right, least privilege. Last one, least common mechanism. Minimize functions shared by different users. They will be better if the individual function can we're trying to avoid many user accessing the same function. Why? If some alteration done by the function, then you have no idea who is the person, whether authorized or unauthorized party who has gained access to the functions. Okay, let me repeat. Least common mechanism. This principle will help to reduce the number of unintended communication path between more than one users. So as what I mentioned, making the lesser users towards one function. Don't make it open for so many users. To make it easier to verify in case any alteration, changes, or undesirable security threat towards the functions. Okay.
Okay.
So next one, let me see. Okay, maybe let's take how many slide more? 15. Let's take a 15 minutes break. Come back, I will continue another few more principles. So I will meet you again 205.
Okay.
session have the third phase integrated. Let's say you already test. Let's say I'm as a tester, I already need to test UAT. You running the form study some component. Usually can go in what is the diagram that you're going to draw.
three of you here.
Right.
Yeah.
How about Kevin? Here.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me explain one more time the replay. This one, replay. Now, can you see my screen here?
Right.
Okay, can. So now, let's say Halim is sending detail to Anita. So Anita would like to verify whether Halim is an authorized sender, and she requests the code. Okay, she requests could be the passcode. Okay, to identify he's authorized. So this passcode, Halim sending to Anika, in between intercept by Alex. So means Alex has the passcode, right? Because she intercept the transit messages from Halim to Anita, and now Alex has the code already. So now we look at the definition. Subsequent retransmission, it means, let's say the transaction already done this round. So next time, next round, the subsequent messages, Alex could be sending to Anita because he has the code already. So in the following transaction, Alex might use the codes to communicate with Anita. So this replay attacker might help those attacker to gain access to the network, gain information, or even they will take this advantage to complete duplicate transactions. The keyword is here. Retransmission and redo the transaction again, since they have the passcodes. Okay, like this, is it clear? Yeah,
Clear.
this, yeah. I think this example will be more straightforward, will be more clear. Retransmission, retransaction, and duplicate transaction. Okay, everything clear so far, right? So no more topic. Yeah. Economy, psychology. How many principles just now in the previous page? How many have you done in the previous page? How many?
6 or 7.
7. Okay, so now we have another 6, so in total 13. Next one, psychological acceptability. Should not interfere unduly with the work of user while at the same time meeting the need of those who authorize access. The security mechanism should be transparent not only to the users, but also to all other authorized users. Whatever who are authorized person, the security design mechanism should also be acceptable by all of them. Next one, isolations. Let me read through what is it first. Isolations. Public system should be isolated from critical resources to prevent disclosure or tampering. Okay, in case of any sensitive information, so the organization, they might take the time to limit the number of system available, and also limitation towards the data. They might also isolate the data so that will not be disclosed or disclosures to unwanted party. It depends on the time, and also depends on what types of information it is. If those informations are sensitive, high sensitivity, then the organization might isolate those sensitive data. Okay, so encapsulations. Let me think of it. Encapsulations. Encapsulation. This one, I think this one you learn in the programming, isn't it? Encapsulation. Something like subsystem. Ada kah?
Time.
Yes. Which course?
Object-oriented programming.
Oh, good. I need three of you share with me. What is encapsulation with object oriented? Yeah, this is something about object oriented.
Yeah.
Refresh, revisions. This one you know better than me. You learn this in object oriented in your application. Who want to try here? You can give examples of your programming also. Encapsulation. This is like a capture, protect.
Maybe several function packaged into one something class.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get your point.
that's
Some more, two more friends here. Give me some keywords. So I will combine three of your keywords become one explanation.
Just to protect some code or data from unauthorized party. Like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
like that also.
You think what is
Yeah.
encapsulation? Like the capture. When you heard the word capture means something capture, and then inside the capture you have your
Data.
what is it?
That
Data. Huh?
Data lah.
Yeah, good
yeah,
student.
data.
Huh? Yeah, good student always reply. So encapsulation means you have to do protection to your data object where when let's say you have a level 1, 2, and 3. Okay, level 1, level 2, and level 3. So each level, the data object has to be protected. Protected. If the user would like to access data level number 3, that's it. Let them access data level number 3. Has to capture, uh, protect your other subsystem. Okay, just like a tree, you have a lot of cabang, a lot of subsystem. Don't expose your protected subsystem to the users. You just provide which part, which subsystem required. That's it. Okay, you have to protect your data or protect your object. Don't expose all the system to the user. You just provide them one subsystem enough. Okay, is my
so.
explanation clear? Clear, like
So
this, make it. Huh?
if they access level 2, they also can access level 3. Is it correct?
If they access level 2, then it depends on authorized permission. You have to, based on authorized permission, and also the most important, what is that? The design of the system.
Oh, so
Ah,
means level 1 is the most strict.
yes,
Strict
yes,
access.
correct. Yeah. Suppose by right, if you are at the level 1, top management, you can access all the subsystem. But when you think of if you are under one department, and there's still many department which stated at the same level, so you have to think about which suppose can be which one accessible, which one have to really think of and plan your entire system security mechanism properly. Okay. Boleh ya. So next one, modularity. Let me read through the definition here. Protect module and the use of architecture, design, and implementations. Okay, in the design, in the security design, the module here means like one module, two module, three modules. So when in this modular architecture designer should be able to, if let's say next future we have a new technology come in, so your modular design or your this one security mechanism designer should be able to migrate it to the new technology and easily upgraded without affect the entire system, without the need to redesign the entire system. Clear? Okay, modularity. So each individual part in the security design can be upgraded accordingly. Let's say you have 10 modules. Module number 1, you can upgrade. Module number 2 also can upgrade. If let's say I only need to upgrade module number 3, but number 4, 5, 6, I don't have to upgrade, then I can do it. This module number 3, I can upgrade. So mean without the needs to reframe or without the needs to redesign all the module in one time. So every single module should be flexible. All right. Am I talk too fast?
No.
No.
No,
Some,
okay.
okay. When we look at the definition in the what is that in the lecture note, too brief. So I have to think of what is the best way to explain. And I hope if you have question, you ask. So I will do my best to make it simple and easy to understand. So next one, layering. Layering. Layer. What do you think this one? Use of multiple overlapping protection approaches, addressing people, technology, and operation aspect of informations. When we have a different approaches, when we have multiple approaches, when individual protection fail, we still have another approaches to go. Will not cause the entire system become unprotected. Okay, so if you pass through this layer, you still have another protection. This approach cannot protect, you still have another approaches. Right? So last one, least astonishment. This one. Let me see. A program or user interface should respond in way that is least likely to astonish the user. Example, about the authorization should be open, should be understandable, and should be transparent enough to all the user. When the user has a good understanding on the design mechanism, on the authorizations, how they work, then it means that when they have the confidence, when the user supports, then the successfulness of the security design mechanism will be very high. All right, so please go through the slide again if you have a question on this.
Means that doesn't surprise the user, right? The last one
Doesn't what?
doesn't surprise the user.
Doesn't have the surprise. What do you mean? Doesn't has the surprise?
Like easy for the user to use the program, like user friendly, something like that.
User friendly, user friendly, acceptableness, transparent enough to the user, and the user can fully acceptable. Because when we correct when we design all these things for who? Siapa yang orang utama? Is the user. So if the user clear on overall, they understand very well. The goal mean the purposes of the security designer could be considered succeed. They understand very well and fulfill the requirement.
Okay.
Mm. When we of course a user interface is one of the thing lah towards user has a different level. If they are top management, user interface could be different pattern. They have less time to go through the complicated user interface. So different level, different user interface. So as long as the design mechanism can fulfill their requirement, and most important is user sometimes we want to know. We want to know what is that about, why they want to do this, why they want to design this. Everything transparent to them. They have a good understanding on how the goal of the security design can map to the overall requirement. Then will be good. Okay.
Okay.
Good question. Next one. This is truly no practical theory. So if you understand well, you can answer well in the test or exam. Next one, a text surface. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A text surface consists of a reachable and exploitable vulnerability in the system. So they have few types here. There are few types. So this one straightforward. Go through one by one. 5 examples here. Okay, this one I don't. Go to next one. This one, the wording a bit small. Category. 3 main category. From a network. Second, towards software. And the last one is a human attack. So for the network, vulnerability could be from the network itself, wide area network, local area network from internet network. Next one. From network could be the vulnerability can open towards the denial of service. So this one we done. Software vulnerability open in terms of operating system, application system use by the users. And a human attack from human, social engineering. There are many ways social engineering. Do you understand what is a social engineering? This one, ada pernah belajar social engineering?
No.
No, this is an interesting topic in chapter number 2 we learn next week. There are many methods. Social engineering is a type or is a method, is a way how people use different technique to gain access or to access certain info as an authorized user. So banyak-banyak cara.
Just use email like that, those things.
Your email, that one is outdated already.
Yes.
Yeah, but still lah, nowadays still masih lagi. The most, still some people receive and they go and reply. Yeah, there's still masih lagi. Some new social engineering technique like shoulder surveying means you are reading your messages, someone just standing behind them, they can easily capture. And also maybe someone calling you saying that from your telco company request handphone pin to unblock system. Many excuses, many reasons.
Can use money to bribe.
Can use money to
bribe
to what?
people. To bribe people and then get access.
Can.
That's
Of course, there are. Yeah, a lot of this one brilliant people in this world. Macam-macam. If they need it, then of course you can get it. But what's the purpose behind? They gain access for unauthorized transaction. They gain access for selling data. Then you have to see what's their purpose behind. As you individual, all of us shall protect our own sensitive information.
Quite hard lah.
And sometimes unintentionally, secara tidak, we are not purposely exposed, but sometimes there is a way people can can access. Chapter number 2, interesting topic. Next week we cover. So this diagram, this figure showing, what is this? Tip, small, large attack surface, and how's the effect, deep effect or shallow effect. This one, attack surface analysis, this is type analysis results. This is a useful technique to understand what is the scale of the threat ancaman, what is the scale of the threat, and also the severity. What is it in another word? How deep or how serious the threat towards a system. When the attack surface can identify the designer of the system, they might able to find a way. They will do their best to find a way to make it the surface risk become smaller. They were doing their best to strengthen the security measurement, and maybe they might also modify the services of application, current application, and change it. So it's something like if you understand this is a threat, then you might think a way how to prevent it. Next one. Oh, a tech tree example for internet banking authentication. This one, leave it to you. Computer security strategy. Slide number 51. Three of you in slide number 51 or fall asleep already?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think? So far, the topic, do you learn something new?
Yeah.
There's certain term, mainly we
That's
still,
certain lah. I learned something new.
yeah, especially those terms. This is an introduction to computer security. So those frequently used term has to be understandable in the following semester, then will be easier for you lah. Okay, this one is about computer security strategy. Strategy apply. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in, let me see. Do we have the, here. Same, this one is a summarized slide, and then explanation is in the next. Yeah, some are the same. Okay, go to next slides. The security policy is a statement, rules that need to, the rules that specify clearly how the overall system works, and also this is a policy of the services that used to protect the system resources. There are few considerations here. Factor to consider: what is the value, which asset could be your hardware, could be your software, could be your firmware, could be your workers. Those are your assets. You have to, so need to understand which asset need to be protected. Vulnerability of the system come from where? The vulnerability come from the network, hardware, software. Understand well the potential threats and types of attacks towards your vulnerability. Next one, trade-off to consider. Ease to use versus security. This one important. Not say important. This one we have to consider. Why? Let's say you have, let me see, shall have one more. When you are designing the system, the priority given to means, of course, is the users. You're planning to design a user interface easy to use, but how about security? We have to find out the balance in between ease to use and also security. Cost of security versus cost of failure and recovery. Yes, you are spending a lot of money on security. Then how's the effect? If you're spending a little money, then if system fail, what is the cost? How much need to spend to recover the system? All these have to be considered. Four implementations: detection, response, prevention, and recovery. I think this is quite straightforward. Uh, Detection, intrusion detection system. Identify. So by using the system, you can identify unauthorized intrusions. Still, again, they talk about the denial of service. So, how about prevention? Look at the prevention. There are technique or algorithm use, encryption algorithm for prevention, prevention unauthorized access. Still talking about the same thing that we discussed at the beginning of the topic today, how to prevent and detections. Detections. At the beginning, we learned active attack and a passive attack. Which one more emphasize on a detection? Still remember?
Passive.
Passive or active? Sure? Passive,
Um,
isn't it?
for me, active.
Answer is active. Okay, this one we have covered, yeah? Active. Prevention. Active, they emphasize on prevention, yeah, rather than what's another word that we use just now? Prevention rather than what's another word? Cannot think of it now.
Prevention better than cure.
Better than cure. Let me see what's the keyword that I mentioned just now. Yeah. Hang on. Let me check my slide again. Prevention rather than detections. Okay. Prevention rather than detection. Because hard to detect. That's why prevent only. Continue. Next slide. We're almost towards the end. Assurance and evaluations. Okay, open the page here. So all these definitions capture from Computer Security Handbook. Okay, all these terms. That's why you look at the definition. Some of the definition, all the wording, sometimes very hard to understand. They get it from Computer Security Handbook, so have to think of other terms to replace. The assurance here, the degree of confidence, has a security measure on both technical and operations. Okay, confidence on both technical and operations. The works here, the intention here is to protect the system and the informations that process. Okay, usually on this assurance, people might ask questions such as, does the security system design meet the requirement? Because they want to assure. They are not sure. They have no confidence on the security measurement. That's why that's the first question they will ask. Does it meet the requirement? Does it fulfill what we want? And also, another question they might usually ask, does the security system implementation meet the specifications? If the design okay, no problem. How about the implementation? Will it be fulfill all the specifications specific by the requirement? So all this can be fulfilled. Of course, the degree of the confidence will be get higher. Evaluation here is a process of examine examining a computer product or system with respect to certain criteria. So evaluation here including testing. Okay, including testing, and then including testing. Let me see. Involve testing, analyze problem, evaluate means menilai. Testing, evaluate the system. Make sure it's fulfill the entire security services and mechanism. Security trend. Figure 1.5. This is interesting. You can go through the security trend here. Indicate the types of security technology. You can see here the most popular, highest two. How organization protect. How organizations encounter the threat and what kind of security technology they are using. So from this diagram, we can see antivirus software the first. Okay, followed by firewall. Okay. Next one. Okay, this diagram talk about maturity of sophistications of tools and technical knowledge. The threat, type of threat you look at here, they are other than a password cracking, they have a backdoors and many types of tools or threat available. And you look at another arrow, which is a red arrow, technical knowledge required is dropping. What does it mean? You don't have too much, you don't have a very good technical knowledge, but still there are some tools you can use for unauthorized activity. Samples of security incidents, there are many stories. If you have time, you can go through these incidents that happened before. Melissa virus, love letter virus. Summary, we have done all this topic, chapter 1. Mainly, chapter 1 here mainly on concept. Okay, still on the definition, meaning, all the words. What is threat, attack, vulnerability, attack surface, passive surface, and strategy, incidents. Online resources, please go through the link provided here. There are a lot of additional resources available here.
Okay.
Look at the second last slide here. This slide explains a little bit more on authentications, authorization, and access control. That's all, finish chapter number 1. Okay. So you glance through all the topics that we learned. If no question, then you can proceed to tutorial 1. There's still a few more questions there. We have time now. You can do your tutorial. And then we can dismiss later after 10 minutes.
Okay.
If you need
Okay.
another short break, you can go ahead. If you need to have a cup of coffee, you need a toilet break, you go ahead. Okay, I take my toilet break. I come back after 5 minutes. Have you run through the lecture notes and the tutorial? Okay, you try first tutorial.
Tutorial now.
No. You do it homework. We will discuss when tutorial class. Tutorial class on when our tutorial class tomorrow, 10 to 11.
Okay.
Okay. No more question. No question.
A
Everything
tutorial.
clear?
A tutorial one numbers. Question number 6 number. Question number 6. I think we haven't done, right?
Hang on. Let me open my question here. What is it about? Can you read the question? Can you read the question?
The differentiate between a network attack surface and a software attack surface.
Hang on. Let me open up my tutorial question. Number 6. Network attack surface, software attack surface. But attack surface we learn. Yeah, we did learn this one. There are 3 types: network, software, and a human, if not mistaken. Slide number, let me check for you which slide number.
Do we need to do the past year also?
Yes, yeah. That's most important. Much
and-
more important.
Then tomorrow we also need to do the tutorial 2.
Yeah, suppose our homework is a tutorial 2. Tomorrow we just discuss only.
Tomorrow we discuss tutorial 2 only.
No, this tutorial only. Tutorial 1. Tutorial 2, let me see. Let me see the question. Tutorial, suppose tutorial 1 chapter. But if you know how to do, you can go ahead. The slide number 48. So there are networks of software and a human attack. Can you see slide number 48?
Uh, 48.
Tutorial 2, not yet. There's about malicious software we haven't covered.
Okay.
Tutorial 1 only. Do you see the attack surface?
Yeah.
There's the answer there. No more question? Try the past year question.
Okay.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, miss. Thank you.
Okay, miss. Thank you.
Bye. Go and take your another tea break. Jangan makan
Okay.
Maggi mee lagi ya.
Okay, miss.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, miss. Thank